Indian economic updates. In a landmark move to reclaim aerial sovereignty, India's Defence Ministry has received proposals from 7 domestic companies to co-develop the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, AMCA, its first indigenously designed 5th-generation stealth fighter. Major players in the fray include Larsen & Toubro, L&T, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Adani Defence and Aerospace, Tata Advanced Systems Ltd, and Kalyani Strategic Systems. The bids will be scrutinized by a technical and commercial evaluation panel headed by former DRDO missile scientist A. Sivthanu Pillai. The Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft program has secured an initial 15,000 crore rupees budget for prototype development, with the ultimate order expected to run into lakhs of crores. The plan calls for 120 jets in the first batch, with deliveries beginning around 2035 and further expansion in variants over time. This marks India's boldest defense research and development push to date, pitting private firms directly against public sector stalwarts in a bid for technological leadership. Under the approved execution model, entities can bid individually, in joint ventures, or as consortia, so long as they are Indian-owned and comply with national laws. From a strategic standpoint, India has ruled out formal negotiations for global 5th-generation platforms like the F-35 Lightning II or Sukhoi 57, signaling a firm commitment to homegrown capability. While initial jets will rely on GE F414 engines, India is pursuing co-development and future indigenous propulsion, potentially with French cooperation. With the bidding now complete, the next phase is the shortlisting of 2 consortia, who will share funding to build 4 to 5 prototypes before serial production begins. This high-stakes contest could reshape India's aerospace landscape, turning it from a buyer into a global fighter craft innovator. India has set an ambitious target meeting 50% of its energy demand through domestic sources by 2030. In alignment with this vision and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's push for Atmanirbhar Bharat, Arunachal Pradesh is emerging as a crucial frontier in the nation's clean energy transition. The crown jewel of this effort is the 600 MW Kaming hydroelectric project in West Kaming district. The project spans more than 80 kilometers and was constructed at a cost of approximately 8,200 crore rupees. Featuring 2 dams and a downstream powerhouse with 4 generating units, the plant is estimated to generate around 3,353 million units annually. This facility has already begun reshaping the energy map of Northeast India. While it meets roughly 12% of Arunachal Pradesh's internal demand, it is also primed to export surplus electricity to Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and distant nodes such as Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Delhi. Beyond energy delivery, the project is expected to reduce carbon emissions by an estimated 2.8 million tons annually. Completing it during the COVID-19 period, while safeguarding regional ecology and cultural heritage, underscored the dual commitment of central and state governments to sustainable development. Looking ahead, Arunachal Pradesh is accelerating its hydropower ambitions. Several mega projects, including the Upper Siang Multipurpose Project, 11,000 megawatts, and the Oju Hydroelectric Project, 2,220 megawatts, have received permits or advanced planning clearances. The state is targeting an expansive rollout. Over 18,000 megawatts of hydropower projects are currently sanctioned or underway, backed by more than 1 lakh rupees crore in investment. By strengthening energy security, driving rural development, and generating employment, these initiatives aim to fast-track Arunachal's transformation into India's hydropower capital. As these projects scale, they will play a pivotal role in India's fight against climate change, ushering in a new era of clean power, regional prosperity, and energy independence. In a significant shift aimed at streamlining defense procurement and accelerating indigenous production, the government is considering a move to permit wholly owned Indian subsidiaries of foreign original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, to qualify as Indian vendors. This long-standing industry demand was discussed by the Special Task Force under the Leadership Defence Ministry. If adopted, the reform would place foreign-owned local units on equal footing with domestically headquartered firms under defense tenders, reducing structural barriers that currently disincentivize foreign players from deeper localization. Observers argue this could nudge multinational defense manufacturers to set up full-scale manufacturing and research and development operations in India. Key among the proposed changes is simplification of the offset clause that mandates local reinvestment by foreign firms. The panel has also recommended transitioning certain procurements from nomination-based allotments, typically reserved for public sector units, to open competitive tenders, albeit retaining nomination only for exceptionally large or strategic contracts. Further suggestions include the standardization of request for quotation formats and timelines, and the creation of a dedicated defense startup policy to nurture homegrown innovation. The new policy likely to be finalized ahead of the next union budget. The intent behind these reforms is clear: deepen competition, improve ease of doing business in defense, and compress procurement cycle times as India scales up its modernization drive. India, aspiring to evolve into a $7 trillion economy by 2030, is witnessing an unprecedented infrastructure renaissance across transportation, energy, urban development, and strategic sectors. This sweeping transformation is set to catalyze economic growth, enhance nationwide connectivity, and elevate India's standing on the global stage. From high-speed rail corridors and renewable energy gigaparks to cutting-edge industrial hubs and coastal logistics zones, 10 flagship megaprojects are at the heart of this national push. These initiatives not only reflect India's vision for sustainable and inclusive growth but also promise to generate millions of jobs, bridge regional disparities, and strengthen long-term economic resilience. Number 1. Mumbai-Ahmedabad High-Speed Rail Corridor. India's flagship high-speed rail initiative covers 508 kilometers between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, leveraging Japanese Shinkansen technology. Trial runs using the E5 trains are slated for FY 2026-27, followed by full commercial operations with the E10 trains by 2030. The journey time will shrink to under 3 hours, marking a leap in intercity mobility. Number 2. Gujarat Hybrid Renewable Energy Park Kutch. Covering 72,600 ha, this hybrid solar wind facility aims for a 30 gigawatts capacity, enough to power 18 million households. Its first 1 gigawatt came online in March 2024, with full commissioning due by 2026. It is pivotal in India's plan to hit 500 gigawatts of non-fossil power by 2030. Number 3. Reliance Dhirubhai Ambani Green Energy Giga Complex. Reliance is investing 75,000 crore rupees in Jamnagar for an integrated green energy ecosystem, solar modules, battery cells, electrolyzers, and fuel cells, targeting a 100 gigawatt-hours annual production by 2030. Number 4. Bharatmala Pariyojana. This national highway initiative encompasses 83,000 plus kilometers of roads, economic corridors, feeder routes, and strategic connectors. It forms the backbone of India's freight logistics transformation. Number 5. Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor and Expressway. Powered by Japan International Cooperation Agency and National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation, this industrial corridor and dedicated expressway freight rail corridor will connect Chennai, Bangalore, and intermediate nodes. The expressway's first section opened in December 2024, with full functionality expected by August 2025. Number 6. Vadhavan Deep Sea Port and Sagarmala. Under the Sagarmala initiative, India is deepening port-led development. The 76,200 crore rupees Vadhavan port in Maharashtra is a keystone in this plan, set to bolster maritime logistics and global competitiveness by 2030. Number 7. Kanpur EV Manufacturing Park. The 500-acre EV park costing 700 crore rupees will be established along the freight corridor. Slated for 2025 rollout, it will produce motors, batteries, lithium cells, and power electronics, fostering a national EV supply ecosystem. Number 8. Arunachal Pradesh Hydropower Projects. With 1 lakh rupees crore in investment, the state is adding 18,000 megawatts via large plants like Lower Subansiri, 2,000 megawatts, and Dibang, 2,880 megawatts. These projects strengthen regional energy security and hydropower capacity. Number 9. Great Nicobar Island Strategic Development. A 75,000 crore rupees multi-decade plan includes a deep-sea port, a greenfield airport, coastal smart cities, and power infrastructure. Serving India's strategic interests in the Indo-Pacific, it's slated for phased completion by 2030. And finally, number 10, Smart Industrial Cities under NICDC. National Industrial Corridor Development is building 11 industrial corridors and 12 smart nodes, backed by 28,602 crore rupees to promote manufacturing, IT, MSMEs, and urban equity. India's bold investment in these 10 mega projects, totaling several trillion rupees, spans seamless transportation, bullet trains and expressways, clean energy production, massive renewable and hydro projects, cutting-edge manufacturing, EVs and green energy gigafactories, and strategic infrastructure, ports, islands, industrial corridors. They promise to create millions of direct and indirect jobs, narrow regional disparities, and lay the foundation for a greener, more interconnected, and economically resilient India. Execution challenges such as land acquisition, environmental regulation, and coordination remain significant. Yet with clear timelines, international partnerships, and focused policy support, these initiatives are likely to materialize. By 2030, India is set not just to grow, but to be reborn as a global infrastructure powerhouse, driven by innovation, inclusivity, and sustainability.